On behalf of the Edmonton Police Commission and the Edmonton Police Service, I acknowledge the traditional land on which we are gathered today is on Treaty 6 territory. I would like to thank the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, such as the Cree, the Dene, Anishinaabe, Nakota Sioux, and Blackfoot peoples. We also acknowledge this as the Métis homeland and home of one of the largest concentrations of Inuits south of the 60th parallel. It is a welcoming place for all peoples who come from around the world to share Edmonton as our home. Together, we call upon all of our collective honor traditions and spirits to work in building a great city for today and future generations. The Edmonton Police Commission is pleased to announce that we've hired Warren Driechel as the 24th Chief of the Edmonton Police Service. Chief Driechel began his career in 1997 in Patrol North Division. He has led and developed several police intelligence units and programs, worked in organized crime and gang investigations, provided expertise in recruit training, and spearheaded changes in data organization and technology development throughout his career. He is dedicated to innovation, leadership, and operational excellence, and is known for his strong commitment to community engagement and proactive policing. As Deputy Chief, Driechel directed the Community Safety and Wellbeing Bureau, which includes the Crime Suppression and Community Operations Division and the Integrated Community Safety Division. Chief Driechel has keen insight into policing in Edmonton at all levels, from the front line to senior management ranks. Most recently, as Deputy Chief, he led divisions focused on a variety of community services and offender management and support, including the Community Safety, Encampment Response, PACT and HELP teams, the Emergency Communications Center, the School Resource Officer Program, and the Behavioral Assessment and Integrated Offender Management units. After a comprehensive nationwide search, we are thrilled to have chosen Chief Driechel to lead the EPS with a firm focus on community policing and strengthening public safety for all Edmontonians. The hiring process was informed by robust public engagement, which provided us with important community feedback on what our city needed from its new chief. We believe that Chief Driechel was the best candidate to reduce crime, improve public safety, strengthen relationships between police and our community, and increase transparency and public accountability at EPS. The Commission wants to thank Warren and Deputy Chief Devin Laforce for their steadfast leadership of the EPS over the past several months as we undertook this hiring process. I know it was a real testament to both of them that we could do two chiefs and share that and do it with such remarkable success. So thank you to both of them. So thank you. I will now turn it over to Mayor Sohi to provide remarks before we introduce the new Chief of the Edmonton Police Service, Warren Driechel, to speak. Mayor Sohi. We have to try not to cover up the phone.
Whose phone is this?
It's the media.
It's the media. Okay. This one. I don't want to drop it and be liable for paying for media's phone. Yeah. First of all, this is absolutely an exciting day that we have selected our new chief, Chief Driechel. Congratulations on behalf of City Council, on behalf of Edmontonians. We are so thrilled. We are so thrilled that you are taking on this very important leadership role at a time when public safety is top of mind for a large number of Edmontonians, and the complexity around public safety and how many intersecting challenges that our city is facing are giving rise to some of the concerns that Edmontonians are facing on a daily basis. I just can't think of a better leader than you to lead our city into through the next chapter of the work that EPS is going to lead. I also want to thank Acting Chief Laforce. It has been an honor to work with you over the last 4 years. And last almost 9-10 months where you both were leading our city, and I have seen your work in the form of how you engaged with the various stakeholders during the Project Gaslight when our city was going through some of the most difficult time. And I want to take a moment to thank all the other police officers who are here today, who are not here today. Our city is so grateful. Our city is so grateful that we have a dedicated group of people who go beyond their call to duty to keep Edmontonians safe. Our city would not be what it is today without your dedication and your work. And you are going to be led by someone who deeply believes in you. Someone who understands how hard it is to serve our city in a most difficult time, and the complexity of that challenge. Because Chief Driechel has gone through, been leading this organization and been rising into this role and being at the front lines and interacting with the community, understand the value of your service and the contribution you make. And I think this is an excellent choice. So I want to thank Commission, Chair Ben Henderson, the selection committee, the folks who were part of the recruitment process. And I have heard during the recruitment process how deeply Commission engaged with the community. Because that was one of the expectations, that we engage with the community, really understand what community wants in a new chief. And every conversation that I had, people were looking for a new chief that has the patience and the temperament to continue to engage with diverse communities and listen to their perspectives, and then bring them along on this journey of building a safer city that we have the potential to be. So, Chief, congratulations to you, and congratulations to your family. And I have full confidence as mayor that you're going to be leading our organization, EPS, into in a very thoughtful way, in a way that will get the results that we want for everyone. So, on behalf of City Council, on behalf of Edmontonians, congratulations and wish you the best. And this is an excellent choice that the Commission has made.
Yeah, and thank you, Mayor. It's always humbling to follow you as a speaker. You're such an eloquent speaker, and I really appreciate those words. I actually think the camera was supposed to be a selfie cam, so I think we can do that later. But it's my honor to stand up here today and warmly thank the members of the Police Commission, members of City Council, as well as Mayor Sohi for today. It's a vote of your trust as the Chief of Police. I also really do want to recognize as well Deputy Chief Laforce, also the interim chief. It was the greatest social experiment in policing, I call it. But honestly, I really, really value and cherish his leadership, his counsel, and frankly, his partnership. And most importantly, thank you for your friendship, Devin. So. My speechwriter really hates me, so they put this up front. I also want to recognize my family. And, it's so important to have them here today. Their support has been so important throughout this journey as a police officer, through the good times, through the bad times, and you've always been there for me. I wouldn't be here without you today, and really appreciate those. Love you, thank you. So, like I said, they obviously hate me, and they put that up front, so could get that done. To the people of the EPS and to the community of Edmonton, it's an incredible and daunting privilege to serve as the Chief of the Edmonton Police Service. I am excited for the path ahead and mindful of the expectations that come hand in hand with this role. I know I have the privilege of leading an exceptional group of people who do some of the hardest work there is, and I'm so proud to have had such an extraordinary career that has helped me learn, grow, and adapt to be considered worthy of this position. Our incredible people respond to every circumstance for a community that relies upon them. But I also hear when they ask us to do more and to evolve and to grow, in pace with our rapidly growing community. Policing is about trust, accountability, and service to others. Trust is something we will earn from them every day. For our officers and the people who support and enable their work, trust is also how we will show up for each other, ensuring we are looking after our people, equipping each other with the ability to bring our best every time. I am truly humbled and honored by today's announcement and excited to lead the Edmonton Police Service. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. We're happy to take some questions now if there are any. Yes.
Darcy Ropchan, City News Edmonton. For Chief Driechel, in over a month, just over a month, we'll have a new mayor and potentially new councillors. Can you talk a little bit about how you're hoping to build a relationship with new city leaders and some of the work you're doing on that front?
Well, I think I'll address it's not just building a relationship, it's maintaining the relationship. I feel that over the last several months, we've worked very hard together, both City Council and the Police Service, to work together to solve some wicked problems. We look at, our public spaces, our efforts with the peace officers within the city and transit. There's true collaboration going on between the city and the police service, and it's reflected in the relationship existing right now with council. My goal isn't necessarily to change anything, but just continue that and look forward to a productive relationship, continue to try to build something for the city of Edmonton. We often hear about safety, crime stats, and the perception of safety, and I think we all want to get to the same place, and I'm committed to working towards that with them.
Just to follow up, I know there's probably a lot, but can you talk about some of those priorities that you're hoping to achieve in those first few months on the job?
Yeah, first is unplug from social media, and no, I'm just kidding. I think the first one is really sit down with the leadership team and talk about accountability and leadership for our organization. We're very junior in our leadership ranks and really working and developing leadership in accountability in our organization to lead forward. The other thing is really start to look at models of how we're talking about crime. So kind of evolving new crime management plans, trying to free up our members more so they can be more proactive and present in our communities. We hear that quite a bit. I think the other one is really start to review our service delivery model and look at our customer service. I often talk about the city of Edmonton is one of the fastest growing cities in North America, area and population. And there's no way we can keep pace, right? We're just not growing at the same rate. So we've got to become a little more efficient, look at, how are we getting out in our community being visible? It's probably the number one thing we hear often is people want to see police officers in their neighborhoods. So it's going to be a real focus for us moving forward.
Mrinali Anshin with CBC Edmonton. Going off that note about growth, what impact has that had on policing as the city continues to grow?
Well, there's many impacts. I think the first is geography continues to spread out, right? And that causes us to travel more distance, to respond to calls and be in those communities. And we often get drawn into those high crime areas, which then leaves voids in others, right? So that's one impact. The second impact, and it's obviously with a growing city, we have a lot of infrastructure design. There's delayed response times for our members trying to get to places due to, the massive amount of construction we see. And that's just what happens in a city like Edmonton. We also find that as our city grows, very diverse communities. So we focus on diversity in our organization and how we are working with different communities. So looking at different technologies to, obtain calls from communities that traditionally haven't been able to report stuff to the police. So we're really focusing on those kind of the dynamics of a very changing city. Our focus is on agility and becoming less of a very traditional call response organization and being more proactive and creating an agile organization.
Yeah, and you mentioned efficiency as well. Would there be anything that would be first up on the block to be cut or streamlined?
There's no cuts. We're not looking. I think we're pointing in the same direction. We've built a lot of really great things over the last 5-6 years, really optimizing some of those things. I can speak to. There's a few things we're working on that we're really proud of. Is like new online reporting tools, new types of way to respond to calls virtually. So building out those technologies when I talk about that service delivery. So really scaling those things up. I talked about that crime management plan. So how are we dealing with crime in our neighborhoods? So that's something else we're looking at really advancing within our organization.
Hi, Chief. The relationship between council and your predecessor did not seem maybe the smoothest by the end there. I'm just wondering kind of how you would describe the relationship as it stands coming out of Dale McPhee's tenure and sort of, is there anything you would have done differently that he did?
You know, it's always a challenge when you take over a role and first comparisons to the last guy that did the job. I don't know if you saw when I met Mayor Sohi on the stand here, I handed him one of our challenge coins. I was hoping everybody thought it was a bribe. No, I'm just kidding.
It was not.
It was not. But honestly, it's like, I think even when there was perceived tension between the police service and between the Edmonton, or between City Council, you know, I tried to work very hard in some areas, especially within the community safety and well-being, to, you know, communicate and work with council. So I'm just maintaining that forward. I think it's very positive. I think we've got a good relationship, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of every single member of the leadership team here from the Edmonton Police Service that's followed that design.
And I was wondering if I could just ask about this letter that you signed to council, to the Crown last week.
I think there'll be plenty of time to ask those kind of detailed questions. Today's for Chief Driechel, so I think there'll be other opportunities to have that conversation. He's certainly going to be available.
That's totally fair, and my preference would be to not ask questions across a room in front of the entire City Council as well. So I'm happy to scrum about that later if you prefer. But I guess maybe Chairperson Henderson, this might be a question for you. This is, I think, the first time that an internal chief has been hired since 2004. I'm just wondering why you thought that this was the time to, and it sounds like there were external candidates.
There were external candidates. It was a national search. We had some very strong candidates. Quite frankly, we felt without any question that Driechel was the strongest candidate we had in front of us, and answered all the questions that were posed to us as challenges by the public engagement that we did at the beginning. It just, you know, I can say on a personal level, as we sat there and did the interview, I just kept on hearing everything that he was articulating, lining up with what what the community had asked for in their next chief. So it was certainly we felt very strongly it had to be a national search, and that not to do that would undermine a new chief. But there's no doubt in our mind that we after a really good set of choices, that we have chosen the strongest candidate.
Eric Bay, Global News. Just following that chief as an internal hire, what sort of benefits do you see with this continuity that you can bring to your new role? Well,
I'll first start. It's like just maintaining the direction we're going, right? I've been part of a significant change in policing and within Edmonton. We looked at the community safety well-being strategy and the creation of the Bureau, continuing that direction, right? So I've been part of that for the last 5 years, and I'm proud to be able to continue the direction we're going. I think the other thing, and you know, it's an interesting topic because I've been a police officer in the city for 28 years, right? So I know the people, I know the community, I know the culture of the organization, and I know that as we do things, how those things will respond, right? And the fact that I have 100 texts on my phone right now for people that want to congratulate me, I can work with the people across the organization, and you know, they know who I am and how I react to things. So I think it's just a good evolution. I told my family this the other day. I'm extremely proud that that I am an internal chief, and it's been almost 20 years that since there's been an internal chief, and I really appreciate that vote of confidence. And, having that ability to bring that kind of just organizational value to the table. So.
And what do you see as the biggest challenge currently facing EPS, and how do you plan to go to address that?
I honestly think our biggest challenge right now is, and it's systemic across policing, is that policing organizations over the last 5 years became very reactive to crime. So became a very traditional, the phone rings and we go try to respond to that call. Part of that could have come from the pandemic. Part of it is just sheer volume and demand. And I think the biggest challenge is start to really focus on those problems, look at the upstream issues that are affecting our communities. When we look at mental health, addictions, creating those very valuable partnerships so we can start to, be effective in those spaces. And I'm pretty proud to have been part of a lot of that work over the last couple of years. I think the challenge will be breaking that mold of just call response, right? And then being proactive in our communities. One of the biggest things we hear is people want to see police officers present in their communities. It's on us now as a leadership team to try to find that space and time for them to do that.
Evan Kenny, CTV News. For the commission chair, you mentioned you did the public surveys and public consultation. I'm just wondering if you could reiterate what you heard from Edmontonians for what they wanted to see in the next chief.
Well, obviously, I think one of the things that it won't be news is, safety and the perception of safety and feeling safe in the community is a high priority for people. I think there was also a desire for a strong connection with community and a good rapport and a partnership with community, and as well, accountability, openness. Humility was a word that kept on coming up again and again and again. So, on behalf of the service. So, and that was, it was really consistent, both internally and externally. So, there was a really strong, I think, desire for someone that understood our community well, and was, had a sense of who we were and a recognition that Edmonton is a special place and a unique place, and had an understanding would be able to deal with our uniqueness. Well, great, thanks. So that's everything. Thank you very much. You can now all individually and personally congratulate our new chief.